Let us learn about the pharmacovigilance requirements in Australia. The regulatory agency in Australia is the TGA, or the Therapeutic Goods Administration. Here is the link to its website. This is how the pharmacovigilance guideline in Australia looks like. The last update was in June 2018. Please note that this guideline refers to human products only. All serious adverse reactions that occur in Australia need to be reported as soon as possible, and not later than 15 calendar days from receipt. Significant safety issues need to be reported as soon as possible but not later than 72 hours of receipt. Lack of efficacy reports pertaining to medicines used for critical conditions or life-threatening diseases, vaccines, contraceptives, and anti-infectives should be considered serious and reported within 15 calendar days. Domestic non-serious case reports should only be reported in PSURs or when requested by the TGA. The TGA does not require reporting of foreign case reports, even if these are serious. How should one report adverse event reports to TGA? You have an option to report using the blue card, sharing through email, or even reporting online using the TGA Business Services portal. The TGA applies the requirement to submit PSUR as a condition of registration. PSURs are not required for all registered medicines. A risk-based approach is used to determine the requirement, frequency and duration of PSUR submission. PSUR submission is always required for provisional registration products, black triangle products, biosimilars and for vaccines. Besides, a PSUR submission may be required for other products for which the TGA evaluates RMPs, and in the absence of an RMP to assist in post-marketing safety monitoring. TGA generally requires annual PSURs. However, 6 monthly PSURs may be required in some cases, like in case of provisional registrations. The format that needs to be followed is the ICH-A2CR2, or the PBRER format. RMPs are not required for all products. An RMP is required with all submissions for registration of new chemical entities, provisional registration of a new medicine, and a provisional extension of indication. RMPs are not routinely required for generic products. However, it may be required if there is an RMP for the originator product with additional risk minimization activities. RMP may also be required if the introduction of the generic product may lead to new safety concerns, such as medication errors. Lastly, RMP may be required for a generic product, if requested by the TGA. In case of biosimilars, an RMP may not be required if the biosimilar has all of the same indications and presentations as the originator product. TGA guideline does not specify any requirement of PSMF. However, a summary of pharmacovigilance system is required for new registrations. The components of the SPS are 1. The contact details of the Australian pharmacovigilance contact person, 2. A statement signed by the applicant to the effect that the applicant has the necessary means to fulfill the tasks and responsibilities, 3. A reference to the location where the adverse reaction and post-market safety data for the medicinal product is kept, if known, and 4th is a declaration that the applicant has at their disposal a qualified person responsible for pharmacovigilance in Australia, if available at the time of submission. The TGA requires an Australian pharmacovigilance contact person. Every medicine sponsor needs to provide the name and contact details of the Australian pharmacovigilance contact person within 15 calendar days of first medicine's entry on the ARTG, which is the Australian Register of Therapeutic Goods. This person needs to be a resident of Australia. In case of any changes, the updated name and contact details need to be notified within 15 calendar days. Besides, a qualified person for pharmacovigilance or the QPPVA is required to be nominated by the medicine sponsor. It is preferable that the QPPVA is medically qualified and resides in Australia. Besides, it is acceptable if both these persons are the same, and necessarily a resident of Australia. The TGA recommends that the pharmacovigilance training should be conducted at induction of employment, with an annual refresher, at a minimum for all relevant staff as appropriate based on their roles and responsibilities. TGA recommends maintenance of records for a period of 10 years after removal from the ARTG, for registered medicines, and a period of 5 years after removal from the ARTG, for listed medicines. With regards to inspections, TGA has a separate guidance document. Finally, we have the DAEN, or the Database of Adverse Event Notifications, for medicines, which contains information from reports of adverse events that the TGA has received in relation to medicines, including vaccines, used in Australia. Let me show you one example of a search performed on DAEN. As you can see, we have options for both medicines as well as medical devices. I will undertake a search for an hypothetical product, say paroxetine. You can appreciate that the database consists of data for more than 50 years. You can select the date range and click on the Submit button. You can then extract the required information. Here you go. You can find information on any product. This information may even be useful for signal management. You can find the contact details of TGA over here. We trust you found this training useful. As a part of lesson materials, you can get access to the following materials.